Hey, social media. Welcome to week 3 of e-learning. Congratulations, you've made it through 2 weeks. So, yay, we're doing good so far, guys. I promise. All right, so a couple of things that I wanted to share with you. Number one is good job working on the what you guys have done so far with the Facebook and Foursquare and Twitter and Instagram and Vine and Tumblr and oh my gosh, so many social media platforms, right? You guys have done a really good job of compiling notes on the history and things like that. So the quiz on that I am not going to put up until Friday because I want you guys to use your time wisely this week on another assignment. So the quiz will not be open until Friday, but then it will not, I will close it on Tuesday. So like Tuesday morning. So you have the whole weekend basically. I'm going to grade it next Tuesday. So you have another 3-day weekend. Another 3-day weekend, guys. Um, so that being said is that's actually what you'll be able to work on this weekend for me. So leading up to Friday, you have an assignment. So in the Edsby message for this particular assignment for this week, I attached 3 PDFs. They're actually just 2 separate articles. One of them is about basically how fake news is not actually a new thing. Surprisingly, it's actually a really old thing. Especially here in America, it's actually pretty much woven into the fabric a little bit. So I want you to read that. And then I want you to read the other PDF that I have. It's a BuzzFeed article, and BuzzFeed News, by the way, guys, is a reliable source, not BuzzFeed the quizzes where you figure out what superhero that you are. I got Captain America yesterday. Anyway, um, who doesn't take those quizzes? Come on, they're fun, especially right now. So it actually was too big of a file, so I had to upload it in 2 parts. So the idea is analysis shows how viral fake election news stories outperformed real news. So I want you to read it, and it comes with all sorts of cool graphs and graphics and actual examples and things like that directly from um, events and social media and things that happened 4 years ago. So I want you guys to read through that. And then I want you guys to go and look it up yourself. So that means that you have to go and research 2 current trends. Now you can pick any platform that you have. You might have Instagram, you might have Twitter, you might have Facebook, you might have just whatever, and TikTok for Pete's sake. There's a whole bunch of different social media platforms, as you guys are well aware. So I want you to go and investigate, find out what are some of the current trends. Obviously, coronavirus is, the number one trend everywhere right now. I mean, understandable, right? That's all we can think about. That's why we're doing e-learning. There's a lot of trends though. Just this weekend, for example, there was 2 different alternating hashtags going off of Fire Fauci and Save Fauci. So that, if you know what that was about, there was some tweets going on. Some people really like Dr. Fauci. Some people want to get rid of him. So what were the sides talking about? Think about what was trending through the United States, and why was one side saying fire him, and why was one side saying no, he's like the best thing, he's what's keeping us sane. So you want to find out what's going on, what's behind that. And part of what finding out what goes on behind each of the trends is finding out what social media posts are backed up. Basically, what blog post or what news headline or what clickbait on a news headline, for example, encourage one trend to take off, and because of the hashtag Fire Fauci, then that spawned the trend of hashtag Save Fauci, because people were responding. So you see how one trend inspired another trend. Okay, so then the Save Fauci group was then collecting data and information to kind of support their campaign. So I want you to see how trends kind of evolve. That's a really obvious example. There's a whole bunch of other trends that are out there. I mean, all I have to do literally right now to find a trend, and I'm going to pick it up right now. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to search what is trending right now Right now, one of the things that's trending is The Bachelor. The Bachelor's trending. Uh, why is The Bachelor trending? Well, it must be on tonight. I don't watch The Bachelor, but a lot of people do, and that's why it's one of the things that are trending. So, what is the history of that? Why are people doing that? What does it inspire? How's the evolution of that? And here's an interesting thing that we could actually have an interesting discussion about. Maybe, oh, I don't know, Thursday at noon during our Zoom meeting, is when we're talking about social media trends, for example, we're talking about how journalists then basically use social media basically to help push the trends and help kind of get that out there. One of the things that's interesting with The Bachelor and other reality shows, now reality shows weren't a thing 20 years ago, but when you have things like Survivor and American Idol hitting in the early 2000s when y'all were babies, social media was still in its infancy. So when social media really took off about 2007, 2008, 2009, you know what I'm saying? And we had smartphones all of a sudden because the iPhone in 2007, all of a sudden we were able to do all this stuff in 5 seconds. It wasn't so much calling, for American Idol and having to be on the phone and using up, minutes and everything. Yes, by the way, we used up a lot of minutes to call and make Kelly Clarkson the American Idol. Yes, I so watched that first season. Anyway, but now it's not just calling and voting and saying I want this person to survive. Now it is going even further, and it is talking about them. It is making suggestions. It is getting the feedback. It is asking questions even. I've been watching online I've been watching pretty much every night. There's one of the news channels does this, like, fact or fiction with the coronavirus. Like, is there a way, to people will ask, they ask questions of ER doctors and financial people and all sorts of things, these journalists that are covering it. And what they do is they open their Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts and Instagram accounts, and they open it for questions from regular people like you and me. And so people sit there and they tweet their questions or they submit their questions, and then they get answered on live television. And again, so much has changed with the scope of even how we do journalism and how we interact with the greater world in real time because of social media. So this is something to start thinking about as we move into our next module, into our next subject with social media and journalism, and how we're in the middle of a really interesting time in journalism history, covering events as they happen. We have press briefings from the White House for 2 hours every single day right now. And the president himself gets up and talks every single day. The vice president is there. We have, like I said, medical experts like Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx, they get up every single day. So there is a whole lot more interaction. So not only are people covering it on local news and cable news and things like that, but then also it is being fact checked in real life. People are backing up. There was a comment made in a recent press briefing, and the person who they referenced immediately said that's not what I said, and came out with like a full live, this is actually what I said, here's my backup. I mean, again, this is happening in real time, and this is an interesting evolution of social media, is being able to interact with people we would normally never be able to interact with. Like, the fact is that the fact that we can somehow have an influence as to what they're actually talking about on the news by just asking a question is unfathomable a decade ago. And yet we're doing this as if this is a normal thing. We are really at that point. So your assignment this week essentially is to more read the articles I attached on Edsby, and then I want you to start thinking about the current trends that are currently happening on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. What are we seeing as being a very popular trend? Maybe it has to do with coronavirus, maybe it doesn't. There's a lot of things happening right now, guys. My cousin is actually every night on Facebook, she's actually posting what she considers the top 7 or 8 memes that she has found of the day. Like, they're usually quarantine related, and there's usually something about snack food and making you know, being Julia Child out of, you know, grilled cheese, and it just there's all sorts of weird memes that she's pulling together, and there's been some great ones about e-learning that she's finding, and all sorts of things like that. But that's the point, is that that's what's current and trending, and she's keeping up to date on it. So what are you seeing? So I want you to find 2 trends, and I want you to kind of follow them essentially this week. What's the evolution of them? What kind of things are backing it up? I want you to start thinking about, like I said about earlier, about the fire Fauci versus save Fauci. What one spawned the other, and then they got supported, and they're rivaling. Is there one like overtaking? Is there one? Now they don't have to be connected, the 2 trends, although sometimes it's easier to find things that are connected. You can find something about sports, and you can find something about I don't know, e-learning. You know, there's all sorts of things. So whatever makes sense to you, whatever you're seeing, I want you to use your brains, analyze, figure it out, and then just write some notes. What are the 2 trends you picked out? And then what kind of things are you seeing? What kind of social media, what is social media kind of picking up with those trends? Are you seeing, like on TikTok, maybe it's more like, you know, are people doing something one way versus like that same trend even on Instagram? Is it displayed another way, or is it displayed completely differently on Facebook or Twitter, or whatever you want to do? I want you to find those things, and then feel free, go ahead, Google search, you know, go to CNN.com, MSNBC, Fox News, whatever you need to do to kind of figure out where those trends and how they're being covered. I want you to see that, because then I want you to start seeing essentially, are they being fed by fake news? Are they being fed by real data? What is the behind it? And are people, is it like a bad game of telephone? Are people getting it wrong the longer it stays on as a trend? Are people building on it? Are they using their own perception, their own bias to build it, to develop it, to turn it into something that it isn't anymore? That has happened a number of times. I'm sure you're thinking of some right now where that's happened, where because a trend has lasted, let's just say too long, and so it became something that it really never was, and now is kind of permanently scarred. So anyway, that's kind of the assignment for this week, is just to kind of follow some trends. So read the articles, think about what they mean, think about how we use social media. We've been talking about this the entire semester. How do we use social media? How does it affect us? I want you to think about that. All right, so if you have any questions at all, you can comment below. You can send me an Etsy message. I have open office hours on Tuesday at 11 or Thursday at noon. Thursday at noon, guys. So, and it's fun to see you guys and talk to you guys on our Zoom meeting. So please stop by. If you have any further questions, again, comment, Edsby, Zoom. I am reachable. Okay, don't forget. So assignment quiz will be available on Friday. Any questions? You know how to contact me. Have a good rest of your week, guys. Bye.